First challenge is this. I have to fit everything.
Well, Loris Baz, you finally made it. Welcome to America. Great to have you here.
Thank you very much. Really happy to be here finally.
How's your experience been so far in the great city of New York?
Yeah, it's been busy. I think I've been doing more in 24 hours than most of the people do in 1 week. They came and it was just running in the city to make some shooting, but I really enjoy it. I can't wait to come back a little bit with a bit more time, maybe with my family when they come around. So just to be a real tourist.
Maybe a little warmer too, huh?
Yeah, exactly. I was freezing this morning and yesterday too under the rain, like cycling under the rain, but yeah, it was funny, good fun.
So here you are with the Warhorse HSBK Racing Ducati New York team. Congratulations. And a look at your new livery on this motorcycle. It looks absolutely spectacular. You have leathers, you have that new helmet. So tell me about your feeling with all this kit, and you're so close to riding this motorcycle now.
I just love it. I've been. It's a week now since I'm here, and I've been at the workshop with Alessandro, my mechanic, and I've tried to help him a little bit at the end when he was busy to make the bike. But you see the bike every day, and I'm just looking forward to jump on it and ride it because it's a pretty long time I didn't ride, and it's a long time now the deal is signed. So the only thing the rider wants is to ride a bike and start walking.
Now you have a lot of experience on different motorcycles in different series. Can you give us a little idea of some of the motorcycles and some of the series you've been able to race over the years?
Yeah, well, I did a bit of everything. I started in 125 like everyone, well, even smaller bike, but yeah, 125. Then I moved to 600 pretty early because I was told I won the European Championship at 15. Then I moved to 1000 at 16 with derogation in France because I was really young to ride those bikes. I did 2 years European 1000 Championship, and then I moved to British Superbike 1 year. The year John Hopkins was fighting for the title with Tommy Hill, so it was a great season. I did only like 3/4 of the season, but yeah, it was great memory. Then I came back, went into Superbike Factory for 3 years, won a couple of races, a lot of podiums, and then I really wanted to try the GP, so I've moved into MotoGP. That's when I first rode a Ducati for 2 years. So yeah, a lot of things. I did also endurance, 24 hours of Le Mans, Bordeaux. I won the Bordeaux. A lot of things. Some German championship, a lot of things.
So you've had challenges all over the world in a variety of series. Now you come to the United States. What kind of challenges face you this season?
Like the normal challenge of a rider coming into a new series, I don't feel any more pressure than the normal beginning of the season. I have more new things to learn, but that's also the kind of thing that excites me a lot, to have new things to try. I love to change, and to discover new things. So I'm looking forward to discover this bike that I don't know, those tires and those new track. I'm sure the track I will love it because it will remind me a little bit the BSB, and this is what I really love of a track, like some craziness.
Well, speaking of tracks, let's go ahead and get into your riding style. What types of tracks do you prefer? We kind of break tracks down oftentimes in fast-flowing tracks or stop-and-go tracks. You've been known as a demon on the brakes, as we say in commentary, right? You like to get on the brakes, but really, with being a taller rider and your experience, what kind of tracks, say, suit your riding style the best?
Well, I've always been really fast in the fast corners, where you need a big hurt, let's say like this. So I love this kind of thing, and I love track that goes up and down, not like flat track is a bit boring. So my favorite tracks is kind of Portimao, Brands Hatch, Assen, Mugello. So a lot of like fast corners, fast tracks. Phillip Island is the best in the world.
Yeah.
So I think I should love the US track. Now I've been watching the races on the TV, and I think I will find this kind of track in the US. So then I love the hard braking. I think being tall helps in this kind of aspect of the riding style. And then I think the bike will do the rest in the exit of the corner.
So you just mentioned being tall. Being tall is the thing. There are people out there that are watching this video right now that might be taller than either the average person in the United States or even some of the people that they've seen that are smaller racers. So what is the myth to dispel about tall riders? Like, you can be tall and be very competitive and win races and win world championship races, can't you?
Yeah, of course. I never see. Well, I always been tall. Always been taller than the rider I was riding with, and so I never really had time to think about this or like to think it was a disadvantage to be tall. Always really thought it was a normal thing, and I just have to find something positive from that. So there is some positive being tall. You can move the weight on the bike. You can find some things that a small rider cannot do. For sure it's a bit harder in the straight, but on the brake you can brake harder. You have more wind to stop you. A lot of things. I mean, you have longer arms, longer legs to just turn the bike in the fast change of direction. So there is a lot of things. I mean, the problem is if you start to think it's a problem, then the problem comes. But I never saw that like a problem. I always wanted to show a lot of people that tall rider can be fast.
And we've already seen this particular motorcycle have a tall rider be successful on it. Scott Redding comes to mind. What do you see as the advantages then of riding this Ducati and being involved in the Ducati mix? So Ducati Corsa is involved in this program. It's a factory supported effort. So how do you see that as an advantage for you moving forward?
Yeah, I'm sure it's a big advantage because they know how to set up the bike for a tall rider, and they show that the bike is doing well with a tall rider. I mean, being tall is not a problem, but you need the people to understand that you need something different than the rest of the rider. So for sure, having Scott, they understood that because Scott replaced Alvaro, that it's a small rider, so they had to go in the opposite direction. And so that's what I was really happy when the deal was done. Is I knew that Ducati was behind us and was gonna help us. And then the V4R have one of the strongest engines. So that's the disadvantage being tall is losing down the straight. Yeah. So having a strong engine, like you don't lose anymore on the straight, so you don't have to go crazy on the brake. Like, okay, I have to get back the time I just lost. So this is a good thing having the Ducati. Like the 2 GP seasons I had on the Ducati was just like I didn't feel tall at all during those 2 seasons. The bike was pretty big, and I was really fast down the straight, so I was not even thinking I was losing anything in my riding side.
So what's your mindset going into this season in terms of, we've talked about this many times with new riders that come into the series. So in your case, you've never ridden on Dunlops made in the United States before. The asphalt here in the United States can be different from one coast to another. The challenges of learning a new racetrack during the race weekend. What are you and the team talked about to try to get you up to speed as quickly as possible, even before we get to the first race at Road Atlanta?
Well, I think most of the work will be done in the test before the first race. And then I'm sure after the first race, we will have a couple of time to test again. So that testing will be the most important, like to learn a lot of things, to learn the tire, to learn the bike. I'm really happy to have the first official test in Austin, which is a track I know and a track I really love. So I don't have to learn the track, I can just focus on learning the bike and the tire and the crew, my crew chief, the guys. So this will make my life easier during the test. And I mean, the goal is easy. The goal is to win, and it's the same for everyone in the team. They put so much effort into this project, like to have this kind of bike here in the US this season is a massive challenge for them. So I'm ready for that. I want to win as much as they want, and I'm ready for that. So I know I will have a lot of job and a hard job with a few of the guys riding here, but looking forward to it.
You seem to have really embraced the idea of coming to America. We saw a lot on social media, you posting with the American flag and the Stars and Stripes and that new helmet design. Tell us about that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm proud to join, to discover a new championship, a new series, but also a new country. You know, like I came to USA a lot of time in my life, holidays and racing, but it's like I have the opportunity to spend a lot of time here, and it's only a few people in the world that have this opportunity in their life to discover like a completely new country for more than 6 or 7 months or maybe more. So I'm happy with that, and I'm really happy that I'm proud of how the people, all the good message I received from a lot of people, the fans, but also the riders. And since I arrived last week, the guys from the team are just so nice with me. And so yeah, I just want to. I feel ready. I told you, like when I had the first call, I had to go to sleep, and when I woke up, I was just like, okay, I have to do it. I felt like, okay, this is a new challenge. I always love the new challenge. I always love that in my career. I've been doing some crazy thing, like I said before, and moving championships. So I love to have a new challenge. And like coming to America is maybe the biggest of my life. So I'm ready for that, and I can't wait to see some American fans on the tracks to see if they like the helmets with the American flag on it.
It's a really cool helmet. All right, look, I know you're saying you don't feel pressure, okay, but I have to bring this up. It has been 27 years since Ducati's won the title in the United States. There was this guy who was pretty good as a motorcycle racer named Troy Corser. What would it mean for you to be able to come in the first season and be able to obviously compete for this championship, but the possibility of walking away with the #1 plate this year?
Well, you know, it's 27 years since they won a championship, and I'm only 28, so
Oh.
I don't even feel more pressure. And the team manager at that time was Aldo Faracci, and I have the same this year. So I think this is the main person to make Ducati win. Like I feel like I have the legend. Like in Europe, we know this guy. Like,
You know Aldo Faracci in Europe?
yeah, you know the logo. I mean, this logo, the Italian flag with Ferracci on it, like it's famous all around the world, especially in France, well in Italy, but also in France and all the racing. We know him, and this guy is just have a lot of passion. So we must do it together. I mean, I'm sure it will be really cool to. So he have the last title 27 years ago, and 27 years later, he have another one.
It would be quite a story.
Yeah.
Wow.
But we have a lot of job to do for it. But
There's a lot of racing between now and then. There's no doubt about it. Well, you've had some time in the United States. It's great to have you here. I cannot wait to see how you go at the test, the official test coming up in COTA in a couple weeks. And of course, our first round when we get to Road Atlanta. I am very excited to see you on a motorcycle, and I'm sure you are as well.
Yeah, me too. It's been a long time now, so it's go time.
It's go time. All right, so we're lucky enough to have CEO of Ducati North America, Jason Chinnick here. Jason, good to have you on set as we are at this unbelievable team launch in New York City. So let's talk about Ducati's involvement in MotoAmerica and specifically with the Warhorse HSBK Racing Ducati New York team.
Well, it's a really good story because a few years ago when I came back to Ducati North America, a little over 5 years ago, I had a meeting with the heads of MotoAmerica, and they said, we need Ducati back. We want to see Ducati back on the grid. I said, hey, give me a little bit of time. I just got back in the office here. But you know, when you have the heavy hitters roll into your office like that and want to talk about Ducati coming back to racing, it's something that left an impression, which was actually great to see. It's not only a matter did we want to come back, but we wanted to be back, and we knew that our fans and we also were seeing MotoAmerica really start to grow some legs coming back into the racing circuit. So as a result, I told them, I said, listen, at the end of the day, we need to work on getting a team together. And if we can encourage getting a couple teams together, then we could bring people to come out to the races. And that's really what Ducati is about. I mean, we're about racing, but also about the sense of community and gathering motorcyclists together. So after a few years of being back at Ducati North America, we've had some interest and a lot of people approach us about the possibility of racing MotoAmerica. And there were a couple bikes that we knew were on the horizon. And specifically the Panigale V4R, we knew that this was coming up shortly. And with that new V4 motor, it would be a contender. And when the team at HSBK reached out to us last year about the possibility of getting out there and racing, and last year was definitely a year of learning for a lot of people with the V4R. And really, it's not a bike that's been proven on the tracks in North America. So we have to figure a lot of things out in terms of the brand and any of the support that we have for it. So this is what's really been helpful for us is last year, not only learning a few things, but then seeing once the bike came over from the factory, what it could really do, what potential it had, and what sort of reaction and response that we got from this as well. So for North America, when we saw we saw the win and we saw what the team can do and what the bike can do, we knew that we needed to get behind this in order to really push it full force into 2021.
Now, this particular motorcycle that sits behind me is a motorcycle that's available to anyone who has the budget to run this kind of bike. Is that true?
Ultimately, yes. If you want to really put together the right effort in order to be competitive, any rider, any team can reach out to us just like North America and Warhorse did and get behind this thing. And they're available for people to race. But that being said, we also are particular about making sure that we have somebody that's going to represent the brand correctly.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Because it's more than just the bike getting out there and winning races, but it's also, the stories that we get to tell and how people get out there and race and win, and what we do for the riders in the community that are coming out to support the races as well.
And for Ducati Corsa, it also, having this team in the United States represents kind of a unique opportunity for them to collect data, doesn't it?
Absolutely. In fact, if you think about this, the bikes that are raced on the global series, the World Series, run a different tire manufacturer, and they don't have the data from our tracks. And our tracks are significantly different from a lot of the courses in Europe or elsewhere globally. So for our colleagues at Ducati Corsa, they find great value not only to have the data that comes from these Dunlop tires, but also all this data that comes from all of these different circuits. Like Road America is a circuit unto its own, in terms of some of the highest speeds of any course globally because of the size of some of those straights. That data is definitely invaluable and will help us as we are able to develop, let's say, other product for the future or even different technologies that can help the riders.
What about the arrival of Loris Baz to the United States? Speaking of Ducati and Ducati North America specifically, what kind of value does a rider of Loris's caliber bring to the table?
I think it's great for us because having Loris coming over here brings a very high profile, not only for the North American Racing Series in the US, but also globally. And it's one of the things that I was talking to some of the team over at MotoAmerica and even my colleagues over in Italy, that MotoAmerica came to racing first, even before the World Superbike Series came out, really. And a lot of our colleagues over there were watching watching the MotoAmerica Series for a few races to kick off, just to get their racing fix. And now that Loris is over here, there's no doubt that we're going to have a wave of European fans following it as well. So it's win-win for all of us. And of course, his skill set is definitely going to be something that's going to be interesting to see out there. He's going to have to learn the courses. There's no doubt about that.
Sure.
But he knows the brand, he knows the bike, and it's just a matter of learning how we race here in the U.S.
I think sometimes that race teams, maybe even race fans, often have a misconception that a company like Ducati is too large to notice maybe the smaller team that races a Ducati or, MotoAmerica, but obviously you're very close with it. So give us some insight into Ducati's passion for racing in the United States as a company and how much you do notice if anyone's racing a Ducati in any class in MotoAmerica.
Well, you're absolutely right in terms of what that misconception is of the Ducati brand. But the reality is that we are a very lean company of a bunch of motorcycle enthusiasts. It's pretty much a prerequisite You know, whether you're in the finance team or whether you're on the sharp end of the stick, the business and the sales side or marketing, there are so many, all of us are enthusiasts. And we have that racing DNA in our blood. Not only does it come from our parent company in Bologna, Italy, but even locally. I mean, I started off at Ducati as a regional manager running the Midwest, doing all the old AMA races back in the days with the Bostrom's, Hodgson, and Parts Unlimited. And that's still stuck into my mind of that romance of racing. In fact, you'll see that even across the last 5 or so years, we've done a lot of racing in North America, but quite different. Not necessarily MotoAmerica, but you know, from what we did with Pikes Peak to the Mid 400 and some things that were a little unique. But we also knew that if we were going to be in MotoAmerica, we needed to be in MotoAmerica to win. Not, or at least put up a good fight, you know, a good battle. I mean, and that's what people want. They want, that's why I love racing. You know, when you just got somebody that's walking away with the series every year, it's kind of boring. Like, you want competition. You want people to dice it up a little bit. So,
make my job easier, man. I don't want to have to call 6-second race wins. I want to call a battle for the race. That's what I'm talking about.
And I want to see that as an enthusiast, as a fan. Like, I want to see people fight, and I want to. I mean, that's racing to me. Mm-hmm. It's not just the walking away with the title every race.
But I mean, if you think about it, it's been what, 27 years, I believe, since Ducati's won a Superbike title. For some reason, it just doesn't feel like that, because there have been plenty of race wins in between when there have been teams, you know, with top riders running at the front. But 27 years. So what is it going to mean to Ducati to be competitive and to possibly walk away with the MotoAmerica Superbike Championship?
Well, that's a really good question. I mean, it's almost something I can't describe. I mean, if that happened, you know, we came into this knowing that whether it was Loris or other riders that were interested in racing, really with the point of pushing towards winning. And this is the year that we're really getting behind it, because we see that there's an opportunity for us. You know, the reality is the championship is anybody's to take right now. There are a lot of good riders out there on the grid, and it definitely is mixed up this year for 2021, which is nice to see. It's nice to see that there's some, you know, changing of the guard, if you will, and I see that there's a good couple opportunities for us to not only get some podiums, but potentially compete for that championship. And I can't even begin to describe what would happen. I mean, like, although I am ever the optimist, I'm not yet there to accept the fact that that is within our grasp yet.
I will venture a guess and say Aldo Faracci will shed a tear, at least one tear if that happens. There is no question about it.
Well, at Indianapolis last year, he shed many. That's for sure. And, you know, to have somebody that passionate as part of this project for us, and not only that, but the legacy that he brings with him from the days of racing here in the U.S. I mean, to us, that's invaluable to have that, because it's infectious. You get around that guy, and you can't help but know that what we're doing is something that's pure, that's really from the heart, and that's something that, even though it is racing and the gloves come off when we get out there on the grid, for all the riders, at the end of the day, it's something that we all love.
So Jason, we talked momentarily about the history of Ducati in the United States, and here we are again. So what do we have that really kind of showcases a little bit of a throwback into the 2021 season now?
Well, for those of you that remember back in the old AMA racing days with Hodgson and the Bostrom brothers, we've got Parts Unlimited back this year, and they're helping to sponsor the team. But the great part about it is it's going to be more than just what they're working with the team on. It's what we're going to be doing trackside as well. So we're working with Parts Unlimited to basically host a heightened level of hospitality for the Ducati enthusiasts and fans and those part of the Parts Unlimited team and family. So for us to be able to bring a little bit of that history back is really nice to be able to see, because they were a great partner back then, and we see them being a good partner going forward.
Now with Ducati, we often see the brand in a variety of classes in MotoAmerica. Does Ducati as a corporation pay attention to things that happen, or to other people that are racing that might not be a full-blown supported team?
we spend a lot of time following what's going on the grid for MotoAmerica. And we have actually over the last 5 years, keeping a close eye on all the different racers and the different categories and riders, just because we have to keep our ear to the ground. And that's not just done here in North America, but it's done globally at Ducati Corsa headquarters as well. And we highly encourage anybody that wants to get out there and race to get out there and to really prove themselves in their muster, because you never know when that next rider can evolve where they can get picked up by a factory team. And we've seen stranger things happen in North America. I mean, a lot of our riders over the years for Ducati globally on Ducati Corsa have come from North America, and it'd be nice to see the US feed a couple new riders on a global level as well.
It's what MotoAmerica is designed for. So we know what Warhorse HSBK Racing Ducati New York team brings to Ducati North America on the racing side. We know what it brings to the fan that's watching it through the television. But will we see a bolstered presence from Ducati at any MotoAmerica event this year?
Absolutely. In fact, it's one of the things that when we were talking to the team at MotoAmerica, we said, if we get the riders out there, we get a team out there, then what Ducati is going to bring is we're going to bring the show. And this is what we're known for. We're known for bringing the community of motorcyclists together, because I could say that a lot of the Ducati enthusiasts that are out there, whether they own a Ducati or not, they want to see us out there racing, and they want to see us competing for the championship. And so the beauty about this series for this next year is that instead of us having, let's say, one Ducati island that typically happens around a World Superbike or a MotoGP race, our plan is to attend the whole MotoAmerica Series. Wow. And to create at least some experience for the Ducati fan and enthusiast to come and get close to the action. Of course, as the pandemic seems to fade out, we'll see where that's going to take us. Yeah. But the point is that we want to give people a reason to be able to get behind and gather and to support racing in North America, because we think it's going to help not only our brand, but motorcycling as a whole. Yeah. And at the end of the day, while I've got the Ducati badge on my chest, I'm a motorcyclist first. And I want to see motorcycling grow as a sport, both professionally, but also for, the casual rider that just wants to come out and enjoy a weekend and, put back a couple brats up at MotoAmerica.
Oh, or an ice cream at MotoAmerica, or something good. I mean, there's no doubt. Well, Jason, thanks so much for joining us this team launch. It's been educational, informative, and we're so happy to have Ducati so invested in the MotoAmerica Superbike Series and have a beautiful machine like this lining up on the grid. It's going to be very exciting for the season.
Well, it's my pleasure, Greg, and I can't wait for the season to start.
The legend Aldo Faracci joins us as part of this program. Aldo, great to have you here, still in racing after all these years.
Thank you to having me here, and I still love a little bit, not that much because I don't want to work, but still love it.
So Aldo, it's been 27 years since you won the last AMA championship for Ducati.
Yeah.
Last year, you won some races. How emotional was it for you with the race wins from last season?
Well, I'll tell you the truth, I did a little cry too that particular day. But now, I believe again that we can do a good job. I mean, all the way, I want to make sure that we got the equipment and everything got to be okay, the technician, and I think so we have another good chance to do good.
So you're the team manager, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
So what would it mean for you personally to be able to try to win this MotoAmerica Championship if you could walk away with Loris Baz and the #1 plate for Ducati?
Oh, for me, it's incredible. But I think so also for the fan, because a lot of people that like me and they like the Ducati. So I think so it's good for everybody.
You've seen a lot of beautiful looking motorcycles in your life.
Yeah.
A lot of Ducatis. How do you like this motorcycle?
This is a little bit the beauty of the all. And I can tell you, son, that bike is nice, It's fast, it's make a good noise, and it's got everything. So for me, with Loris Baz and that Ducati, and San Help for Pasteur, maybe we can do some.
All right. Thank
More
you.
the sun.
Good luck this year, Geraldo.
Thank you, I appreciate it.